Alright, let's take a look at this game. Made by Avalon Hill, ages 10 and up, 60 minutes playtime, 2 to 5 players. Very small, only whopping 4 pages booklet, and pretty colorful. It's got lots of examples, pretty simple. This is a quad fold 20 by 20 board. We'll go into that in just a second. Then we got all of the pieces. Let me sort some of these cards out here. All right, let's start out. First thing we got here is we got a big pile of gold. These are plastic coins. It represents the gold you use in the game. 1, 5, and 10 gold. The economy part is a very important part of the game. It's your choice whether to go power or money. And we're just going to pull those to the side. You also have your actual character pieces. You've got 2 each. Your officer and you've got your pirate, and you actually play with both. You choose when to move what, unless the dice tell you to do otherwise. We've got crew cards. Crew cards will actually go all around the board, and you'll be able to pick them up, and I'll go over them in a second. Fortune cards, which are basically kind of like interrupts to the game. Here's an example of some of the fortune cards. These cards are drawn on the church or the tavern, and really one of the tips to the game is the more of these cards you can draw, the better off you're going to be. They'll alter things into your favor. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes there's some effects that aren't necessarily like great for you, but for the most part, they are good. There are some that you can hold in your hand, and then there are some that you have to play immediately. They're marked there, right there. You can see on the screen in red, play immediately. Then you got item cards, which will give you bonuses, money, or power. Here are some examples of some item cards. Items can straight up help you increase your strength. Like you see in the top left, the jeweled broadsword, which gives you +3 strength. That's very useful. It's a very valuable weapon. And then also we've got other items that just help you along, like the steel breastplate at the bottom right. It says each time your officer loses in combat, roll a die on a 3, 4, or 5. You don't pay any gold or lose any crew card. That's one of the things that happens to you if you lose a fight. You could lose crew, thus bringing down your ability to gain money or have more power. So there are item cards that actually let you do things like that. There's also item cards that let you move around the board faster, things like that. And of course you've got enemies that you can fight them and get treasures and whatnot. Here are some examples of some enemy cards, such as Cyclops, Pirate Zombie. I mean, what pirate game would be complete without a pirate zombie? Siren, which looks like a lot like a mermaid. Basically, you land on certain spots like caves, or a card tells you to. You have to fight an enemy. You flip the card over, compare how many crew members you have, and it kind of tells you how much power that creature has, and then it also gives you what you get if you actually beat the enemy. And there's also, you have to remember, and we forget this a lot while we're playing, up in the top of the card, right here, it'll actually tell you extra things that you'll have to keep in mind while fighting this particular creature. For this one, it says, if you win against the pirate zombie in the first time, you must fight it again a second time. That sort of fun thing that just kind of throws a wrench into the works. You got 2 dice that look somewhat sort of rough and rustic with their spots, but you don't have a 6-side. You've actually got a blank. All right, let's take a look at the board here. All right, right, let's get a better, closer look at this Monopoly-like board. All right, the game board runs a lot like a Monopoly board with an outer edge. And then also it's got spaces that run right through the middle of the board for the more adventurous. And it has the end of game space right there. It's kind of got a sort of sketch look to it. You can see some of the spaces there. Cave, church, basically where you either fight enemies or you get to draw cards. Very nice graphics there. Who's that guy? Face only a mother could love. As well as that guy right there. You've got 4 treasure chests around the board. There, 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 and there. And they run a little bit like the spaces on Monopoly, the trains. Not where you actually collect money or collect pieces that represent the trains, but actually money goes into these spots, and the money will increase as the other treasure chests get full. And then if you land on a full treasure chest, you get to take all the money off of it. And there's also a spot here in the middle where you actually put your gold in there. It's called the treasure trove. And it sort of works the same way. Money will get dumped in here, and then somebody, lucky person, will land on it and get it. Alright, the game goes like this. You basically roll the dice. You move your characters around the board. They start here, the pirate ship or the navy ship. You've got one guy on each. Your pirate starts in the pirate ship. Your officer starts in the navy ship. Every time you roll, you get to choose who moves. You move around the board. You collect power or you collect money. You collect power by getting items that give you power, or you land on these different colored spaces like the blue, the red, the purple, the yellow, and the green, and you get to pick crew cards. Let's take a look at a crew card. Crew cards give you either money, like I said, or power. This particular one, it's got a blue border, so this one would sit over on the blue spaces. It wouldn't actually sit on the spaces, but it sits next to the board. And if you land on it, you get to choose one of the blue crew cards that are sitting on the side of the table. This one will allow you to gain 1 coin when it comes time to gain money. There's also ones that allow you to power up or have extra power. Alright, I got 2 here. Both of these are from the purple space. I've got 2 here because you see there's a little gun right in the top right corner of this particular card. This means your pirate gains 1 power. The ones with the sword means that the officer gains 1 power. And like I said, you can either go and try to win the game through power or through money. So you could pick these kind of cards and power up either your pirate or your officer, or you can choose to collect the money, which allows you to buy your way into the lair of the Pirate King, pay him off. You move your characters around the board. If you happen to land on the same space as another character, you can fight them and try to win some of their money or one of their items. You can also go bankrupt if you wind up giving away too much of your money. But your ultimate goal is to get to the middle of the board. The middle of the board has 2 guys you got to fight or pay off. The first is the Lake of Fire, which is the top part. The Lake of Fire is basically a guy you've got to fight. So you're going to have to do a little bit of fighting, but he's pretty weak, so it's no real big deal. Then on your next turn, you move on to the lair of the Pirate King. You can either fight him, which he is a much more tougher, and hope to win because you've been building up your toughness, or you can pay him off. And it shows you right there in the space how much it costs to actually pay him off to win the game. So if you wind up losing on one of those 2 spaces, there's a couple of different ways that you're going to get punished. If you lose to the first mate right before you get to the Pirate King, you're just going to be pushed back and you get a penalty. If you wind up losing against the Pirate King, you've basically lost the game. All in all, the game is pretty fun. It's once you get down just the mechanics of movement and rolling dice to battle each other, it's pretty simple. It does last about an hour, and the more people the merrier, just as in most games. Avalon Hill did a great sort of, everybody keeps using the word monopoly, but that's true. It's kind of, you go around the board and roll a bunch of dice and stuff. And to me, that's the kind of game I like. That's kind of the sort of game we based our game, Rise of the Rockstar, on. Kind of move around the board, and there's a lot of ways that you can do some strategy, some cards that can really throw things up and really mix things up around a bit. all in all, out of 5. I haven't done one of these in a while, so I'm going to give this one probably, for the typical gamer, a 3. I'm going to give it a 4 just because I like the theme and I like the gameplay. You can probably find it for a pretty decent price now. It's been out for a few years, or it might be kind of hard to find depending. I'm not sure if this, I'm pretty sure this is probably unpublished now, but you can probably find it pretty cheap on Amazon. Check it out.